chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. Y'all know how we do over here. We talk about any and everything, child. Anybody can get it. And when I say anybody, I do mean anybody. Even people that I might like. If you acting out of pocket, or if you are not aligning yourself with the right frequency, and you're acting in a way that is causing you to be a hazard to other people and their spiritual growth, we have a right to speak on it. We, the people, the 15 people who thumbs up my videos, we are the council and we have a right to speak on it. Okay? I appreciate it. Okay? I have other ventures that I do, but this is my spiritual venture right here. Okay? So I have gotten into the revolution of TikTok. And over on TikTok, you can find a lot of old Bobby Hemmett lectures that they no longer have here on YouTube. And I just ordered a book that Mr. Hemmett recommended probably years ago. And it's called Melanin People and Luciferian White People's Secrets Revealed, and how they eat melanin people. That's a very interesting title. And I ordered that book and I'm going to read it because I want to know what their secrets are. I want to know. I want to know some information. Wait a minute, I'm looking for something. I want to know some information. I want to know some things. Oh, here it is. I want to know some things. The reason I want to know is because there's a lot of shit that just doesn't add up to me. As a spiritual person who can look at things in dimensions, some people may foolishly mistake it as conspiracy theories, but I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm looking at all possibilities and all outcomes. That is what a spiritualist does. We look at all outcomes and all possibilities. That is what we do. That's what I do. Let me just say that. That's what I do. I don't just look at things and believe it. I want to know why. I want to know, why did they really assassinate JFK? Was it because he was going to release UFO disclosures back in the 1960s? Because from the word on the curb is, that is why they really were going to, I'm sorry, that is the real reason that they actually assassinated him. Why did they assassinate Dorothy Kilgallen, the columnist? Hmm? Why was Joan Crawford receiving death threats towards the end of her life? And I'm not a big Joan Crawford. I liked her movies, but I'm not a fan of her as a person from the things I've heard about her. But I liked her movies. I liked her as an actress. She played the fuck out of that role in Mildred Pierce, child, and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, and Possessed, and Queen Bee. So I liked her movies. She could dress her ass off, but as a person, probably not so much. Didn't know her, but it is what it is. Why was Joan Crawford receiving death threats before she died in 1977, which really made her not want to come out of her apartment, that, what is it called? Imperial House up there in New York? She didn't want to come out of her apartment. She literally locked herself in her apartment and was afraid to come out, had everything delivered to her. I just have questions, about a lot of different things that have gone on over the years to make what we now know reality reality. What did all of these people know? What did Joan Crawford know? Because Joan Crawford, let me tell you something about Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford, whether people hated her or revered her, it doesn't matter. Joan Crawford knew a lot of shit that was going on in that motherfucking industry, and so did Judy Garland. That's probably why they killed her. I'm going to say they killed her allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly because Spirit is talking. There's a reason why Judy Garland left the United States and moved over there to the UK, or she was visiting the UK, or did she move to the UK? I don't remember. I wasn't there. I wasn't born yet. But I know she died in the bathroom in the UK. Dorothy Kilgallen, the former columnist, she died under mysterious circumstances as well. What did Jane Mansfield know for her to have died in that freak accident on that highway in New Orleans, Louisiana in the 1960s? The 1960s was a very, very ritualistic time for the world and especially the United States. I'm just, I'm up. I just have a lot of questions and I'm probing. I want to know. I already know the answers, but I just want to know more. Why did they kill JFK? Why did they kill Marilyn Monroe? There are a lot of theories as to why they killed her. I know what you all are thinking. Well, why are you going back so far? Because the painting of yesterday creates the portrait of today. The portrait of today. The paintings of yesterday create the portraits of today and everything that's going on today. Why did they kill Marilyn Monroe? Why did they kill Dorothy Dandridge? Because her death was under mysterious circumstances as well. And Dorothy Dandridge was also connected to JFK, allegedly. I know she had an affair with Peter Lawford. He was an in-law to the Kennedys. So why was Dorothy? It just doesn't. They say she died of a pulmonary embolism. Okay, I get that. Maybe. But I find it very interesting the circumstances surrounding her death. She was getting ready to make a comeback. She was getting ready to make a major comeback in the movies. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know it, but Dorothy Dandridge was the original choice to play Billie Holiday in a biographical picture, Lady Sings the Blues. See, that project, it came about, or at first, the idea first came about in the 1960s. Holiday had been dead for many years at this point. Well, she had been dead for years at this point because she died in 59. So by this point, she had been dead for quite some time. And Dorothy Dandridge was the original choice to play her, but the project never really materialized in her lifetime, and Orson Welles was going to produce or direct it because Orson Welles, the great actor and producer and director, he and Billie Holiday, they used to have a thing for each other. Speaking of Billie Holiday, we know why they took her out. Because she was a real black revolutionary person. It doesn't matter what she did in her personal life. She was an authentic revolutionary person. Doesn't matter if she wasn't always a nice person. She had a genuineness about her. She had an authenticity about her. And that's what you have to look at. A lot of these niggas now, not only are they not authentic, they're not nice people. They're neither. And that is why when I hear people in that conscious community talk about it's not about the person being a nice person, yeah, you're right. But what if you are not only not a nice person, but what if you're also disingenuous and not authentic? The real reason that Bobby Hemmett stopped fucking with a lot of those niggas in that conscious community is because they betrayed everything that he taught them. They became everything that he spoke out against. And I'm not saying you have to worship him and follow his path. You can ultimately follow your own path. But everything, all of the knowledge and all of the work that he did to enlighten black people, the very same people who are walking in his footsteps, the very same motherfucking people, they turned around and became everything that he spoke out against. I was looking at a clip where he was talking about having money and stuff like that. And he was saying, and I get what he was saying. Of course, you need money to survive in this matrix. Money is a functional part of our society. We need it in order to buy food. We need it in order to pay our rent. You know what I'm saying? We need it in order to buy things that we need, water, food, comforts. We need it. And I don't think that he was necessarily speaking out against using money for what it's for. What he was talking about was you never get so wrapped up in a temporary physical world where you are afraid to die and leave it because we're all going to die and transition one day. I think that is what he was talking about. You never get so wrapped up into the world where you become the world. Because remember, everything is temporary. All of this is going to be taken away from us at some point. Me, you, everybody. We're all going to have to die one day. We're all going to have to transition and go into the other realm. And when you go over to that other realm, money is not going to make a motherfucking difference. So I think that is what he was trying to say, that you don't get so wrapped up into the physical world where you become it. Because if you are on a spiritual journey of enlightenment, it's not about the money. It's supposed to be about your enlightenment. It's supposed to be about you expanding your wisdom and your knowledge of self. That is what it's supposed to be about. But you have a lot of people who have used it and abused this knowledge for their own materialistic purposes. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad about what I'm saying. Do something about it. But you can't. Because most of these motherfuckers, they can't even pull a rabbit out of a motherfucking hat. They'll make you believe that they can, but they can't. And that brings me back to asking questions. It brings me back to the whys. Why did they do this? Why did this happen? Because if you don't ask questions, then you're not expanding your knowledge and your wisdom. See, people follow people blindly, just like a lot of people follow Oprah Winfrey blindly. We're going to get there because I've been looking up a lot of information about Oprah Winfrey. And before any of you Oprah zombies and cult followers get an attitude with me, or whatever the case may be, you really need to do some research on your girl and find out who she really is. But that's right, you think everything is a conspiracy theory and you think everything is a lie. Everything is not a lie. Everybody ain't lying. There are pictures of her with Harvey Weinstein. There are pictures of her with this man. And now I'm hearing that she is a gatekeeper to introduce men into gay rituals and homosexuality within the industry. And I know what you all are saying. Well, you're a gay man. How could you? Here, let me break something down for you. They have taken that term gatekeeper and they have perverted it. They have taken being a gay person who just happens to be attracted to the same sex. They've taken that and they have perverted it. And most of these faces are black that have done it. And I know people don't want to hear that. I know it's not politically correct to call black people out because black people get to be narcissistic. Black people get to be assholes, and you don't get to call them out because if you call them out, you will be looked at as a racist or Uncle Tom or a coon. If a white person calls a black person out for being a rotten, evil person, oh, that person must be racist. No, no, no. Rose McGowan was right about Oprah. And people can say whatever they want to about Rose McGowan, that she took the $100,000 or whatever she took. Yeah, we get that. We get it. But Rose McGowan ain't telling no lies. She ain't telling no lies. What lies has she told? She ain't telling no lies about the demonic shit that goes on in that industry. They've taken the term gatekeeper. When I first heard about it, I heard about the term gatekeeper from Bobby Hemmett, where he was talking about how gay people are like the gatekeepers in the spiritual realm. His words, not mine. Okay. And he's not talking literally about the humanism or the human aspect of being a homosexual. He was talking about an androgynous being in the spiritual realm and connecting with that type of energy. That's what he was talking about. And that has even been perverted because you know a lot of them conscious niggas, they don't talk about high spiritual things anymore. They don't talk about those things anymore. Everything is about gratifying their own personal agendas and objectives. They don't talk about spiritual matters anymore. They don't. All they talk about is their own agendas and their own objectives. There is more to spirituality than hip hop. Hip hop is not the only um, gateway into understanding spirituality. Now, that may be someone's path to understanding it, but it's not the only path. And if you really look at hip hop now, hip hop is some motherfucking trash. At one time, hip hop had a connection to spirit, but not anymore. Not anymore. So, Oprah, they're calling her a gatekeeper because She introduces, I was looking at something on TikTok where they were talking about how basically Oprah set Jamie Foxx up allegedly. And he went to Quincy Jones' house, and there was some gay ritual stuff that was going on. And this gay ritual stuff is practiced not just in Hollywood, but it's a trickle down effect. It's trickling down into the everyday life of gay or bisexual men. See, back 20, 24 years ago, when two men used to get together, it was because they had a need. It was because I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me. You know what I'm saying? One of us was the feminine aspect, one of us was the masculine aspect. That's it. That's all. But now they have included all of these other perversions. And a lot of this is a trickle down effect from people being manipulated, up under spells, and mind controlled by Hollywood and just social media in general, things that were not around that time in the early 2000s. Because I'm talking about 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. YouTube did not come around or was not invented until 2005. And now YouTube has become part of the Antichrist. I heard someone say the real reason they want to shut TikTok down is because TikTok shows the truth about what's really going on. And they don't want you to see that. They don't want you to see it. So that term gatekeeper has been used and misused. It's being misused. The gay energy is being misused. And now it's turned into more of a totalitarian, draconian type of energy where we as gay people, the real ones, the last thing that we ever wanted to do was to control how people how people think, or control the thoughts of people, or to control how people feel. The only thing real gay people wanted to do, we just want to live our lives in peace. We don't want to corrupt your children. We don't want your children watching us dress up in drag. We don't want your children involved in inappropriate things that are supposed to be for adults. The gay people who are, or the so-called gay people that are involved in those types of activities, 9 times out of 10, they're agents. They're agents. They are agents. Being gay has nothing to do with violating people. That is not who we are. That's not who I am. Being gay is not about, trying to force your energy on an unsuspecting heterosexual man, even though that is the craziness and the mentality of especially a lot of heterosexual so-called black men in the black community. They think that somebody want them. And let me just say this. Most of you niggas don't even have no good dick. Most of that dick ain't good. That's some rotten spoiled milk dick, okay? Most of you niggas ain't got no good dick energy, okay? So that's number one. Black men ain't what they used to be. Like back 20 some years ago, black men used to be on point. I used to want me a black man all the time. But now when I look at black men, I give them the side eye. And you can take that however you want. Like I said, anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. And this is not a bashing black men. This is talking about the energy that is fluctuating and exuding from them now. It's just not the same because we're living in the age of the invasion of the body snatchers. Isn't that what they cloned Tyrone is all about? I haven't even seen the movie, but I can pick up the energy. Isn't that similar to that movie Get Out? And that ties into that book that Bobby Hemmett recommended about melanin people and how white Luciferians eat melanin people for their energy, for our energy. I'm getting that book, and when I do, I'm going to do a review on it. I'm getting it. I want to read that book. I want to see what's in it. Being gay has nothing to do with trying to force other people to be gay. And the people that participate in that are very, very demonic people. And when I say demonic, I mean low level, ignorant, reckless behavioral patterns. I'm talking about their own demonic energy. I'm not talking about a possession. I'm talking about them allowing their traumatic demons. See, you can always tell when someone is gay based upon authenticity or based upon trauma or ritual. There are three types of gay people. Listen to me now. There are gay people like me who are authentic gay people from spirit. There are traumatized gays who were harmed as children or even harmed as adults. Doesn't matter. But their energy was harmed or compromised. And then there is the ritualistic gays, those who participate in homosexuality for ritualistic purposes, like what we so-called see in Hollywood today. How they have sex with other men, not because they are attracted to other men, but because they are trying to get to a certain level of success in Hollywood. And I know everybody knows that already. That's nothing new. But there are three types of gay people: authentic, spiritually inclined gays, traumatized gays, and ritualistic gays. Ritualistic gays and traumatized gays are intertwined a lot of times, and they are some of the most dangerous. And unfortunately, the conscious community, they don't like spiritually in tune gay people like myself. That is why they all turned on me, which is okay, because I turned on them too now. So it's okay. We on the same motherfucking page. They don't like gay people like me in Hollywood. They don't like gay people like me in the conscious community because the conscious community, the black conscious community, they are connected to everything that's going on in Hollywood. They're connected to a lot of that shit. That's why they took down my video that I did on Brother Polite. That's why YouTube took it down. Because I was speaking too real and too right. And I was also talking about Joan Crawford in that video too. How she was involved, possibly, in trafficking. Because we all know, well, you may not know, I'm going to repeat it. We all know that she adopted those children illegally. She went to a child trafficking, illegal adoption orphanage or whatever, where she adopted Christina Crawford. And I believe she adopted Christopher Crawford from that place as well. But these are the things that people don't know if you don't expand your knowledge and your wisdom. See, I know these things. I know a lot about that industry. I know a lot. I know more about that industry probably than the people that's in it. Because I'm spiritual. And spirit can see just about anything. See, they don't like my type of gay. They don't like my type of gay because you can't manipulate me. Listen, You can't manipulate me and tell me that wrong is right and right is wrong. And I understand that there's certain occultisms that go with that terminology. Right is really wrong and wrong is really right. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about what Mr. Hemmett was talking about, how evil is really good. I'm not talking about the polarities. I'm talking about violating people and interfering in people's personal spiritual journey. Now, we can sit here and play this game all we want, where we choose our path and all that. Yeah, we can choose our path. But when you have people and violators who are trying to deter you, that's a problem. And then they're trying to use gay people. I'm not going to say no LGBT community because that has become a cult. That has really become a cult. I am a solitary spiritual gay person, and I'm a powerful one. And I don't need a cult to dictate anything to me. I do as I will. See, they don't like my type of gay. See, my type of gay, they view as mean. They probably view me as narcissistic. They probably view me as someone who's a troublemaker. And you damn right, I am a troublemaker. I am. Because when I see someone is trying to control me and manipulate me, it could be somebody in my family, we have a problem, a serious one, a serious problem. But they don't want authentic gay people anymore. They don't want that. They don't want gay people who have dignity and respect for themselves. I'm not saying that I'm an angel or I'm perfect. I'm not. I like dick just like any other gay guy. I'm freaky with adults like any other gay guy. I have my dark side too. I'm not perfect, but the difference between me and what we're seeing now is they're trying to turn being they're trying to turn something that was viewed as liberation or freedom. They're trying to turn that into something draconian or totalitarian where you are controlled. You can't do this, you can't do that. No, we do have to fight against discrimination. We do have to use our power to fight against discrimination and against, people who want to harm us because they're out there. I get that. But there's something really, really wrong when you cannot get into the industry unless you let another man, and you're not into men sexually, and you let another man enter inside of you, or you have to go up inside of another man's mouth or rectum, and that's not something that you like. And also, let me say this too, and I've said this before, just because you're gay, it does not mean that you like anal sex like that. I am not a big proponent of anal sex. I like oral sex. I like foreplay, but I am not a big proponent of anal sex. Now, do I like getting my salad tossed? Yeah, I do like that. We have an adult conversation. Now, hopefully, only adults will listen to this. Do I like that? Yeah, I like that. But as far as anal sex, I'm not a big proponent of anal sex. And when I've said that to straight people, they looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, why? We don't come, just like you all come in all different shades, so do we. Why do I have to like anal sex because I'm gay? Who says that being gay is based upon or predicated upon bending over and letting someone stick their penis in your anus? Because everybody got an asshole. Why is that synonymous with being a homosexual? Who made that synonymous with being a homosexual? Because from what I'm getting from my spirits is that really wasn't a practice that real gay people practiced during the more ancient times because we've been around forever. It was more about love and being in tune with yourself in totality and being and having a love affair with you. And how that manifests is that when you see other men, you were attracted to the same sex, not children. You were attracted to the appropriate, age appropriate same sex. And it had nothing to do with bending over and, doing anal. I like penis. I don't like ass. See, that's how you know a lot of these people are ritualistic gays. You may be a ritualistic gay person and not even know it. And listen, if you are a ritualistic gay person or a gay person through trauma, there's no shame through that. And when I said that, let me be clear because I don't want people to get the wrong impression. When I said that they can be the most dangerous people, I'm talking about within that industry. I'm not talking about people who have been traumatized. And I'm not mocking people who've been traumatized by being harmed as children. I'm talking about people in that industry who use their trauma and their ritual to dictate culture within the gay community. Like we see T.S. Madison doing. Okay? Now you're seeing T.S. Madison pop up on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now you really know the Real Housewives of Atlanta has really gone downhill. And I don't give a fuck who gets mad about what I'm saying. There are three types of gays: authentic, spiritual, spiritually gay, connected to spirit, traumatized gays who are created based upon trauma, and ritualistic gays. And unfortunately, a lot of these men now are ritualistic, traumatized gays. Black, white, it doesn't matter. They're not doing it, or they're not into men because it's something that they innately like, or they have an innate attraction or love for another man. It's always based upon some ulterior hidden motive or agenda. And the conscious community, like I said, they don't like my type of gay. They like the ritualized gays and the traumatized gays. Those are the ones that they want. They don't want gays with some dignity and respect. They don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that. To them, I'm boring because I'm not a stereotypical person. I don't follow nor do I adhere to stereotypes. I don't. Love me, like me, hate me, it doesn't matter. I don't. I'm going to be me. I remember when I did a few years ago, I'm not going to mention any names, but if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I remember when I did an interview with someone and another person, and I was dressed in drag on their platform. And they were asking me questions about what gay people doing in the clubs and all that. I'm like, I don't know. I don't hang with those types of gays. I am my own solitary gay person. And the person who was giving me the interview, he said, well, you're a poor excuse for a gay person. I guess he was, but he didn't, I don't think he was saying that to be offensive, though, even though I don't like him anymore. I don't think he was saying that to be offensive. I think he was just saying that because I have a certain amount of dignity. But even with him, that was a disappointment for him too, because I'm not a stereotypical gay person. And when you're not a stereotypical gay person, they hate you. That is where a lot of my hatred comes from when it's concerning heterosexual black men, because they want me to be they want me to be the ritualized or the traumatic gay person, which when you intertwine that, it's someone who is needy, who is possessive and obsessive over men. I've had my fair share of having my, you know, obsessive moments, but that was when I was a teenager, 18, 19. Not as no grown man. You feel what I'm saying? Or infatuations with certain men. I've had that. I've done childish, fucked up shit in my youth, but not as no grown man. They want people around in Hollywood and in that conscious community who are traumatized and who are ritualistic gays. They don't want authentic spiritual gay people. They don't want that. They don't want us around because eventually we're going to be able to see who these people really are. Look at what's going on with Billy Porter right now. How are you a gay man and you going broke? How you a gay black dude? We used to monopolize and make plenty of fucking money back in the day. Gay black men always had money on them. How are you a gay black man married to a white dude and you're going broke? Where they do that at? Have y'all heard about Billy Porter because of the writer's strike? You're married to a white guy, right? He don't have no money to help you? So what's really going on? See, these are the questions that I'm talking about that we don't ask. What's really going on? How are you gay? It's easy for us to make money. And the money I make is my own. I don't borrow and I don't loan. I don't do that. I only got enough for me, myself, and I. I don't have no children. I don't have no responsibilities. I make mine. You go motherfucking make yours. Simple as that. So I'm just not understanding how Billy Porter, who has been in every well-known television show, he's been on American Horror Story. Was he on Pose, I believe? He's been in blockbuster movies. And you're broke? You didn't save no money? You always, as any person, you should always have at least a couple of, something saved up. Especially if you ain't got no children. Now, if you got children, I understand. That's different. Because it's hard for parents to save money. That's different. But you ain't got no children? And you broke? And you a grown man? But nobody's asking questions. I thought he was married. Your husband ain't helping you? So let me guess now he's going to do a GoFundMe? Maybe? I don't know. Just asking. Billy Porter is a mixture of all three. I do think that he is authentically a gay spiritual person, but he's gotten wrapped up into the trauma and the ritualism of Hollywood because they're using him now as a whole ritual. That's a whole ritual of him losing his money and his white husband not even being able to help him from the way that it appears. That's a whole ritual. And I was reading some of the comments under the video that was displaying his situation and what he's going through right now. And the comments were so vile and disgusting, and it just really shows you the type of world that we live in. But at the end of the day, some of those comments were based in truth. Where is your husband? Why don't you have money saved up? Why were you living beyond your means? Why were you? I mean, these are all good questions that people are asking. We just want to know, well, what's up? But they don't like authentic gay people. And now they have now they have made a mockery out of being a gay person. Now people expect you to be, you know, basically a clown or a buffoon when you are a gay person. And I'm neither one of those things. That is why no one can say anything about me because I put my own tea out. Nobody can say anything about me. I remember years ago, this weirdo that came into this, circle that I was a part of at the time. He tried to expose me because I said I sucked a lot of dick before. He tried to expose me for that. So what? So what? If I sucked 1,000 of them, this is my mouth, and I do what the fuck I want to do with my mouth. That is how I roll. And at the same time, this person alleged to be heterosexual, but in actuality, he was a ritualized gay person. Ritualized gay people are usually straight men who participate in homosexual activities for ritualistic purposes, but they have a disdain and they have an aversion to gay people in general. And you can see a lot of that energy even within the conscious community. You think they don't do gay rituals with each other? I know what you, how could you say that? I said it. You think they don't do gay rituals? You think a lot of them rappers don't do gay rituals? Of course they do. But then they'll get in social media and they'll try to talk shit about gay people. But nigga, didn't you just go, wasn't you just in the studio with your pants down? And wasn't you just bent over getting fucked in your ass? Sucking dick? But you're saying that being gay is wrong? That's how ritualistic gay men are. And then what ends up happening is they end up liking it. They end up liking it. They end up liking it. And what happens is that then, this is where you ladies come in, they end up liking it, but hating it at the same time. You know how you can like something and hate something at the same time? Some people may not understand what I'm saying, but I mean, there are people like that on YouTube. I mean, some people I like them, I like to listen to them, but then on another hand, I can't stand them. You know what I mean? It's just a weird thing. But what happens is they end up liking it, but having an aversion towards it at the same time. That is what a lot of black men on the DL operate on. They operate on that frequency of being a ritualistic gay person, because a lot of them do, even if you're putting yourself under ritual, you done had a couple of mollies and you done drank some liquor, that's a ritual you're doing right there, even if you're doing it unbeknownst to yourself, even in your ignorance. Then you horny and you just want to put your dick in anybody's mouth, you don't care. That's a ritual right there. Then the morning you wake up, you realize what you done, and now you hate all gay people. Do you know that the majority of men who kill gay people and trans people, do you know that the majority of these men are not fully heterosexual men? A lot of these men have had gay experiences and they hate it. They detest it. And it's okay if you're not gay. It's okay if you had an experience and you don't want to have that experience anymore. That's fine. Because sometimes people may experiment and they be like, no, that's just not for me. And they go on about their business, and that's okay. And nobody has the right to judge you because you don't want to have that experience anymore. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about men who hate it but continuously have the experience. So then they'll go and get them a girlfriend or a wife, and they'll bring all of that energy to you, all of that confusion and confliction to you. And then a lot of times, women, you wonder why you may be having female issues. You wonder why you may not be feeling right. Your energy may be off, and you have to go and get certain spiritual services. Well, you better take a look at that nigga that you're messing with. And I say that with respect, not with no condemnation. Look at that nigga that you messing with. You look at him. Look at him. And I'm gonna tell you something. And I've said this before, a lot of DL men and a lot of men who mess around with other men who have, and they have girlfriends and they have wives and stuff like that. Most men like that, they want to mess with other men who are married and have girlfriends. They don't want to mess with a openly gay man because then that would expose them. They don't want to mess with an openly gay man. They want to mess with men who are off the radar like them, who are in undisclosed territories like them. You get what I'm saying? And they detest gay men who are spiritual and spirited. Even if we're not attracted to them, they detest us and they will try to do everything they can to destroy us because what they really hate is femininity or feminine energy. But they will marry a woman if they can, and it doesn't matter what your race is. White women, they do it to you too. Doesn't matter what your race is, they do it to white women too. They do it to all women. Okay? It doesn't matter what your race is, but let me finish my point. A lot of these men, these ritualistic, traumatized men that mess with other men, they want other men who are masculine, totally masculine, and you gotta be a top nigga with big dick like me. You gotta have a big dick like me. And all the while, these men have families, they have girlfriends, and they use women in their ritual. Because if they can use you to get to the next level, because a lot of times men have to have, straight men have to have a woman to help them get to the next level. They got to have it all. They got to have the perfect image. It's a mask. They use you as a mask in their sick, twisted, ritualistic games, knowing damn well that they want dick. They want dick. They don't want pussy for real, but they can get it hard enough to have sex with you. Don't think just because it gets hard for pussy that it ain't getting fucked in the ass by a dick. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm only speaking about men who do this. I'm not talking about the entire population of men. Let me be clear. I'm only talking about the men that do this because a lot of the men in Hollywood, they do this. And it's trickling down into everyday society. When I see dudes talking about it, I'm going to tell you something else to be watchful for, ladies. And this video really wasn't supposed to be about this, but in totality, but oh well. When you see men on dating sites talking about, I'm looking for my Harley Quinn, or I'm looking for any type of fictitious characters, be very wary of that man. Because if he's saying that he's looking for Harley Quinn and all of these outrageous characters, a lot of those outrageous characters have a lot of masculine energy. And that tells me that that's what those types of men are attracted to. So I'm not saying all, but just be watchful of that. Why are you looking for fictitious characters? That's one of the reasons why so many of you motherfuckers are single now, a lot of you men. That's one of the reasons you're single now. And again, I'm not talking to authentic heterosexual men. I'm not talking to you, brothers. I'm talking to these over here. I'm talking to these motherfuckers right here. And whether or not they're a small percentage of the population or not, they are having an impact on us all because they're trying to put us up under a ritual and they want to take away the spiritual side of being gay, which is finding someone that you love or having a connection. It doesn't have to be a marriage because personally, I'm not into marriage for me, but it can be a symbol. It can be a symbolic marriage. I say my friend here with me is my husband because he acts like it. I cook for him. He acts like a husband. I have to do every goddamn thing for him because he can't boil damn water. He don't even know how to make Kool-Aid. I got to do everything for him. So I'm the in the feminine role. He's in the masculine role. He takes out the trash and do all that other stuff. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I say that. It's symbolic. But to actually go in a church and put on rings and all that, that's just not for me. That's not for me. If I was going to do that, I would just go to the justice of the peace. But that's just not for me. That's just not for me. But no, I'm talking about these types over here. I'm not talking about, you know, all hetero. I'm not talking about all men. So let me be clear about that, you know, because there's some real authentic heterosexual men out there. So let me just be clear about that. But in this new climate, what I've noticed is that they're trying to kill off the spiritual gaze. They're trying, when I say kill off, I don't mean literally, trying to physically kill us, but they're trying to put us on the back burner so they can birth, and they have these new types of people, these ritualistic gay people like Raven Simone. Raven Simone is a ritualistic gay person. She looks so traumatized. JoJo Siwo, or whatever her name is. Now, JoJo was a little girl on Dance Moms. She was a little girl on Dance Moms. Then all of a sudden she comes out as gay. That's all ritualistic. That's all ritualistic. You know, when I came out, when I was 21, when I was 21, 22, that's when I came out. When I had my own place, I was grown and I could do what I want to do, and I was an adult. So we have to recognize what's really going on in this culture, in this society, when it comes to a lot of these people and their agendas and what they're doing. Their agendas and their objectives, but they are really trying to kill off the spiritual, authentic gays. They don't want that anymore. They want saucy Santanas. They want outrageous, nasty, unspirited types of people because they can control them. See, they can't control me. It's only so far they can go with me. They can't control me. They just simply can't do that. So when I hear terms like, this and that and that and this, and, when I hear all these terms and all of these conditions and all of these objectives and all of these agendas, and when I look at all of these people, they're nothing but ritualistic people. There's even a ritualistic form of spirituality. And that is why we have to be careful listening to a lot of these celebrities when they're talking about spirituality, especially people like Oprah Winfrey and all these other, ritualistic spiritual people. We have to be careful listening to the things that they say because it may not be conducive for our spiritual enlightenment or growth or continued growth. It may not be for us. That's for them. Like all of that shit, The Secret and all that old bullshit, that shit ain't for us. That's for them. That is for them. Because at the end of the day, they, like Michael Jackson said, they really don't care about us. Isn't that why they killed him? Because he told the truth. And it's more to that story. That doctor didn't have, it's more to that story. It's more to that story. That's all I'm going to say. You know? But anyway, I think that's all I have to say. I just wanted to drop this video because it was on my spirit. I went to bed early and I had some really interesting dreams. And usually when I come out of the dream world, it comes back with a bunch of information, whether I want to acknowledge it or not, you know? And see, like I said, I'm the type of gay they don't want because I can see. I can see. And they really want to remove those types of gay people. They don't want gay people who actually have spirit. That's why them conscious niggas stop fucking with me because I have spirit and I question things. They don't want that around them. They want people around them that are basically dead zombie like types of people who will just continuously buy their products, continuously telling them how wonderful they are, even though they're not. That is what they want around them. Same thing with them Hollywood people. They're not for no spiritual enlightenment. Because if they were for spiritual enlightenment, how come the people around them are not enlightened? They're only worried about chasing money and chasing pipe dreams. That's all they're worried about. I don't have to chase money. Money chases me. Shit, let me say it like that. Prosperity, happiness, wealth, and abundance, it chases me. I don't chase it. You know? Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. I might come back with a part two if I can think of anything else to that I want to add to this. Um, but just ask questions. Ask questions and not to people. Ask questions to yourself, to your spirit, and see how that manifests. Thank you.